seems to be okay.
All right. Well, then we appreciate your taking the time and telling us a bit of what you heard and saw, and thank goodness you're okay. I mean, Paul Cruikshank is our terrorism analyst. Colonel Cedric Layton is a former member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He knows the area of Munich well. Chris Swecker is a former assistant director for the Criminal Investigative Division at the FBI. And Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell sits on the House Intelligence Committee. I want to start with you, Congressman, because I know you've been briefed on this. The president's been briefed on this attack. What have you learned that you can tell us?
Very little right now, Aaron, but we're grieving for our friends in Germany, and for whatever reason this terror attack was carried out. Again, we see that Europe is in a new era of terrorism right now, and we're reminded that when people who have evil hearts have access to very dangerous weapons, this is what happens.
And let me ask you, Chris, what do you think happened here? Obviously, when you hear this, one of the things that stands out is that this was a McDonald's. This is an American brand. It is a Western brand. It is a brand that stands for the epitome of the West. And now that could just be coincidence. It could be something else.
Yeah, unfortunately, Aaron, we live in a time when the presumption is a terrorist attack. When you see a mass, crowded place like a shopping mall, mass casualties, shoulder weapons, someone that's obviously had some type of training or practice, has practice with the weapon. So the presumption is it's a terrorist attack. We don't have the facts. Unusual after, 8-10 hours now.
Right.
We really don't have much to go on.
And let me ask you, Paul, obviously there's a massive manhunt right now. They don't know how many attackers they were. They're using the plural. They have special forces now coming in from across Germany, coming into Munich. The city is completely shut down. How dangerous is this manhunt right now? And how many are we looking for?
They're looking, Aaron, whether there are additional suspects. They don't know that. In fact, the attacker may have just been acting alone and may already be dead. And that's one hypothesis they're looking into right now. This video has emerged. We'll be playing a little bit later of the gunman on a roof, which he's ranting and raving. It's filmed by standers by. And he appears to be significantly mentally disturbed, frankly, and talks about how he's in treatment. So this may be disturbed actions of somebody with severe mental health issues, and we just don't know whether there are more gunmen on the loose. German authorities clearly not take any chances.
Right.
They've sent in the commandos to try and find anybody in the sea. But this.
And of course, we don't know. Colonel Layton, as Paul said, there may be just the one shooter. There may be three. They said they were looking for as many. Obviously, they've been hunting now across Munich for several hours. How far could shooters have gotten? I mean, this is reminiscent to many watching of what happened in Boston when a city was completely shut down as they searched for the Tsarnaev brothers.
Absolutely, Aaron. And one of the big things is that, like Boston, Munich has been shut down just like you described. They could have probably gotten, in 7-8 hours, they can go very far. I mean, theoretically, Austria, maybe made it all the way to Italy or the Czech Republic. I think it is unlikely that they did that, but it is certainly feasible, and it doesn't take long, without any roadblocks to get very far in Europe, especially on the Autobahn.
And Congressman Swalwell, what do you make of the fact, and obviously, again, we just don't know motive at this point, but of the fact that stands out to many Americans who happen to be watching, that this happened in a McDonald's?
That's right. A soft target. You have children being targeted. It is terrorism, and again, we'll get to the bottom of in what name it was. That successful act. Or Dallas, they inspire others who may be deranged or have to want to go out and carry out these attacks. So whether it was a ISIS directed or inspired attack or something else, certainly this spree of mass shootings across Europe and the United States may be fueling others to take up arms and carry out something vicious like this.
All right, well, all of you are going to be staying with me. Next, the breaking news. Our coverage continues of the terror attack and a new video that we have of that attacker on the rooftop. We're going to play that for you to try to get some sense of what happened in this senseless and evil act. Plus, Hillary Clinton about to reveal her VP. Our latest reporting on who it will be. Find out imminently. And Ivanka Trump selling her convention look. Yes, this dress is now sold out at Macy's. She went out on Twitter saying you could buy. Is that okay?
burned out Friday is brought to you by the Peter G. Peterson Foundation. Ask the candidates for a plan to address the national debt. Go to cmoney.com/America's Debt to see how candidates, their advisors, and experts discuss the debt and their plans.
How can good paying jobs disappear? It's what the national debt could do to our economy. If we don't solve our debt problem, 19 trillion and growing, money for programs like education will shrink. In just 8 years, interest on the debt will be our third largest federal program. Bad news for our small businesses. The good news? There's still time for a solution. Ask Don't you ask what's next? Cadillac XT5.
You can use whipped topping made with hydrogenated oil. But real joyful moments are shared over the real cream in Ready Whip. Ready Whip. Share the joy.
That's right. Stay twice and get $100 in Wyndham Rewards gift cards. That's true. $100. I love my job.
Stay twice and get $100 in Wyndham Rewards gift cards and save up to 25%.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm looking for a deal on an iPhone. I was thinking something along these lines.
Oh, okay. Well, how about this?
Here is my answer.
Is this you with a dinosaur body?
It's just me with happy hands. It just means I'll take it.
Right now, buy an iPhone and get another one free when you add a second line.
Having acne was always in my mind.
So I asked a dermatologist about new Axone Dapsone Gel 7.5%. I apply it once a day, anytime.
Axone Gel 7.5% is FDA approved for the topical treatment of acne for people 12 years and older. Axone Gel is a once-a-day acne treatment with clinically proven results. In clinical trials, acne got better for people using Axone Gel in just 12 weeks. Axone Gel may cause the serious side effect of methemoglobinemia, which decreases oxygen in your blood. Stop taking Axone Gel and get medical help right away if your lips, mouth, or nails turn gray or blue. Talk to your doctor if you have G6PD deficiency. Using benzoyl peroxide with Axone Gel may cause skin or facial hair to temporarily turn yellow or orange where applied. Common side effects of Axone Gel include dryness and itching of treated skin.
Now I have less acne to think about because I use Axone Gel.
You could pay as little as $15 for Axone Gel. Learn more at Axone.com. Axone. Prescription treatment, proven results.
We want to write the next chapter in American greatness. We stand together, we will rise together.
4 big nights.
I am so proud to endorse Hillary Clinton as the next president of the United States.
Unmatched access.
You will always have a seat at the table when I am in the White House.
The Democratic National Convention. Live starts Monday at 4 on CNN.
Breaking news, a massive manhunt now underway. Police say 3 attackers on the loose after opening fire at a shopping mall in Munich. At least 9 people are dead. Officials saying it looks like a terror attack. Those are the words out of German officials. One shooter appears to videotaped opening fire outside of Mcdonald's across from the mall. So there was a scene here at the McDonald's and then against pedestrians in the mall in this video, as you are seeing. The city right now in Munich under virtual lockdown. People have been urged to stay home. They are desperately in manhunt, as we said, searching possibly for as many as 3 attackers. This says Europe is on high alert for attacks. We had the attacks in Nice, the attacks in Paris. There was an attempted attack on a train in Germany just this week. Evan Perez is out front. And Evan, U.S. officials were predicting a summer of terror in Europe, and we have seen in just the past week some horrifying acts.
That's right, Aaron. It was going to be definitely a high alert there across Europe, from Spain and Italy to Germany and France, and of course in Brussels, where we've seen so much terrorist activity in the past year. But really, what's been surprising is how much time passed this summer before we saw any of these events. Now it seems we're seeing a lot of it. First in Nice, and now this event today. Now we still don't know. There's still no indication yet that this is an Islamic terrorist attack, or whether or not there's some other group, perhaps a right-wing group, that might be behind it. But it's certainly something that has the attention of law enforcement here in the United States and intelligence officials, because they've been picking up so much chatter about the possibility and about the intent of an attack in Germany in particular this summer. There was a lot of concern that not only the return of some of these foreign fighters who are coming back from Syria and Iraq, but also that the possibility that ISIS has hidden some of its operatives on the big flow of refugees that have now made Germany their home, Aaron. But at this point, we're still waiting to hear from the German authorities what the cause of this attack might be.
All right. Thank you very much, Evan Perez. My panel is back with me. And, Paul, this week, a teenager inspired by ISIS stabbed passengers on a German train. A terrifying story. People just on the train. One that didn't get a lot of coverage around the world, in part because we were all talking about the convention in Cleveland. But then we had the attacks in France. We had the attacks in Belgium, the attacks in Nice. When you put all of this together, what do you make of this? They called for attacks across Europe, and whoever is committing these attacks, that is what we're seeing.
Well, that is exactly what we've seen in recent weeks and months in Europe, a whole spate of attacks, ISIS-directed, ISIS-inspired attacks. And to add to your laundry list of attempted attacks this week, in the UK, in Norfolk, just to the north of London, there was an apparent attempted hostage attack on a British serviceman near an air base. He managed to get away. Looking into whether there are terrorism ties in that case as well. But I can tell you the context here in Germany is of intelligence services more and more worried about the threat of ISIS-directed attacks against Germany, ISIS-inspired attacks against Germany. They've received intelligence that ISIS have been trying to recruit their German fighters to send them back to Germany to launch attacks. They found it more difficult to persuade the Germans than, say, the French or Belgians to do that. But there have been more than 800 Germans who've travelled to Syria and Iraq, many of them joining ISIS, with about a third of them back in the country. So it gives you an idea of the possibilities ISIS has in terms of targeting Germany. Also, very recent intelligence on ISIS operatives in Syria and Iraq reaching out directly to people inside Germany, their followers there, to try to get them to launch attacks, because they're losing ground in Syria and Iraq and Libya, and they want to change the conversation.
So Colonel Layton, I want to show you the video that Paul had mentioned, the video of a person believed to be one of the shooters yelling on a rooftop in Munich this evening. You have listened to the actual video, which of course is in German. What did you hear, Colonel? What did it tell you?
Well, there were a lot of obscenities, Aaron, that went back and forth, but basically the person that is possibly the shooter was somebody who was speaking with a southern German accent, and it is an accent that is not normally picked up by people who are refugees living in Germany, or even people who have been assimilated for some time in Germany. It is native to the Munich and southern Bavaria area, and it's very clear to me that this was somebody, if in fact that was the shooter, somebody who is not related or affiliated with ISIS in this case.
And Congressman, when you put this in context of what we're finding out in the United States today, 3 Florida residents charged with conspiring and attempting to support ISIS, one of them actually in the airport, supposedly getting on a plane to go over and to join ISIS. That was just today. People don't hear about that because they weren't able to stage an attack or pull an attack off, but yet they were on the path. How worried are you right now?
I'm most worried about an ISIS-directed attack in the United States, and it's really the work of the FBI and our border protection that keeps them from coming from the battlefield in Syria and Iraq to come over here. So it's those last points of departure, like London, like Munich, that have direct flights to the United States. If they make it over here, there's so many weapons that are available and recipes for how to take household items like the Boston Marathon bombing to carry out an attack. So we have to fight the inspired attacks and really do the work abroad. But Aaron, I'll just say, the instability in Turkey could not come at a worse time. They are a linchpin in protecting us from fighters transiting from Western Europe down to the battlefield. And if Turkey is not a faithful partner in this, we are much more vulnerable.
Chris?
Yeah, this is something that's viral in a very sick sort of